All right, we are live. If I've done this correctly, we will be live on Twitter. We will be live on our Facebook group, and we will be live on YouTube. It worked last time, so I anticipate it ought to go okay. Got a special guest tonight. We've got Richard Corrigan, proudly serving in our United States military. Huge Texas fan, and I didn't get to check out all of the second half. He watched the whole game, so we're going to talk about the game. How's it going, Mr. Richard?
It's going good. Good morning from Japan. It is 8:25 a.m. here. I want to give a hook'em to start off the chat. It's good to see you, man. I love what you got going on, and this whole Big 12 sports group that you have, and a lot of things that you've been bringing forward. And I love the conversations. So, thanks for bringing me on. I appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely, no problem. I knew you were a Texas fan, and I just wanted to hear a little bit of y'all's excitement about the game. Y'all have got to be out of your minds. A 49-0 victory is nothing to, just, scoff at.
I expected the teams to come out and play pretty tough, but I didn't expect the defensive line to come out and play as strong as they did. I think 10 years of pent-up frustration, especially going back to, I think since 2014, it's been like a one-score game. So to see the defense come out and actually make the stops, as bad as Oklahoma may have been, the issues on offense, the quarterback issues, for them to stay consistent throughout the whole game and the defense to make stops when they needed to. Oklahoma is just a bad team this year. 49-0 is great for a rivalry game, but they're just not a good football team. And Texas came out and played them as they should have as a bad football team this year. But the most surprising part was the defensive line continually getting better. I don't know a better defensive line in the entire Big 12 currently. Defense is continually getting better. Big 12, I'm not going to say the Big 12 is on notice, but if Texas can continue to – the offense played – we'll get to the offense, but the defense is what is surprising me the most this year. This defense right now, the D-line, this is who Texas should have been last year. This is what we were told was going to come out and play hard and make stops, and it didn't happen. And now we're kind of seeing the remnants of what we should have had last year, finally this year.
But, so if I can interject real quick, y'all's defense looks absolutely legit to me. And with Quinn Ewers, that offense is really bothering me. It really worries me. I would say you're absolutely a threat right now. I'm not going to say you're back and all that, but maybe you are. Y'all are looking pretty impressive to me. Quinn Ewers is okay, so let me put this out there. I watched the first half, and in the first half, Quinn Ewers looked pretty impressive to me. What was it, Beville, however you pronounce it, Davis Beville, the opposing quarterback, looked very frustrating. That's to be expected. Right. If you're going to call yourself a good team and you face a bad team, you should destroy them. Y'all are a good team, man. That's what I see.
I see a team that consistently gets better, and they're building off their mistakes. Alabama, they came out. Quinn Ewers had a strong first. It was about a first quarter. He gets injured. The team has to rally behind that. Hudson Card comes out and plays, does significantly well, and then after that, we go into game two against, or after game two, and Quinn was healthy. Sorry, I got the dogs in here. Well, when Quinn was injured after that, we had to learn to adapt with Hudson Card at quarterback, who has not had really strong showing. And then finally, he starts getting into the offense, right? Sark starts to learn how to form the offense to fit Hudson's style, right? We're going to go ahead and try to run the ball a little bit heavily, try to do some play action, get receivers open. But once you bring in Quinn, playbook opens. Every receiver is a threat. Options are there. There was a play, I believe it was in the first half. Quinn scrambles to the left. Defender's coming from the right. He spins out of that defender, goes back right, throws for completion. I think it was to Jatavian Sanders. But the Big 12 needs to be on notice, because I think each week the team's going to get better. And this is a confidence builder with a 49-0 win against a huge rival. But
Yeah, I mean, as I stated, man, y'all are absolutely impressing me. You put a lot of fear into me. I I thought Oklahoma was going to take a step back. They didn't even worry me having to play them on the road later. We got to play y'all in Austin. That absolutely worries me now. It honestly does. I'm not kissing anybody's butt. You know, I'm a Baylor fan, but that's just what I
Right.
see. You know. Okay, so
I want
go ahead.
I would like the rest of the Big 12 to go and watch the fans after the Oklahoma win. The fans in the loud, crazy, and not only does it kind of affect, I would see the fans that are going to start showing at the home games, because I believe we have 7 home games this year, but also going into recruiting. We had a ton of recruits that were there today in Dallas. So, anyways, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, you weren't interjecting anything I was going to say, but I could tell you this. Okay, so before the game, I interviewed a Texas fan, and then the next night I did an Oklahoma fan. And so I talked to Scott Smith. I know you know Scott. I talked to him before the game, and he specifically told me one player to look out for. I said, "Hey, who's on offense that we may not know about, but we're going to know their name eventually?" He told me JT Sanders, and that played out pretty well. He had a pretty good first half, I know for sure.
He's JT Sanders, I think, is probably 6'5" to 7". He's enormous. And he's not just tall, but he's huge in size. So you try to find mismatches with your linebackers or even your secondary players, free safeties, strong safeties. You're going to find those mismatches, and that's kind of what happened today. I would say also look for JT Sanders. Probably have a big game next week against Iowa State when we face a very tough run defense in Iowa State. And what's our biggest part of our game? It's getting Bijan the ball. But Scott Smith is exactly correct. Sanders was a huge person to look out for as far as this game today, and he's just going to gain more and more confidence. Texas is loaded as far as what we have for offensive weapons.
I have to agree, man. You got Quinn Ewers, looks legit. You got Bijan Robinson. We know he's proven. You got Xavier Worthy. We know he's proven. You got Jordan Whittington, who's impressive. And now JT Sanders. Man, I'm telling y'all, I don't kiss butt, but y'all are impressive to me. And I see big things. I've got 2 things I want to say real quick. Whoever comments on Facebook, I don't know how to set this up correctly yet, but we don't know who you are. I mean, if you want to put a comment on here, that's cool, because me and Richard will discuss anything y'all have in mind, but we don't know who you are. So if you want to write a comment, maybe put your name underneath it as well, so it'll show up here. And anything you type up here, I'll put up here on the screen. The other issue is Richard is coming from Japan right now. So from my perspective, his video is a little bit laggy. So if y'all are having issues with that, I just wanted y'all to know that's the reason. But hopefully this video is going out okay. What else you got, Mr. Richard?
So another thing I wanted to talk about is the ability for Texas to come out in the second half and not. Sark's biggest issue last year was we would have leads and he would come out in the second half and fall apart. We lost, I think, 6 straight games last year having first half leads. So what I saw today was Sark continue to play the offense. He continued to give Bijan the ball. He continued to give Roschon the ball, who that's another part of the Texas offense that people don't talk about. We have running back depth for days. We have Keelan Robinson, we have Roschon, we have Bijan. You're starting to get into Jaden Blue. You're starting to get into it's probably a 5 or 6 running back room right now until, of course, Roschon leaves and probably Bijan this coming up year. But we're stacked on that level. But the ability for Texas to finally start to adapt going into the second half, not only that, but in the first half. So what did Oklahoma start to do in the first half that blew everybody away? Let's run the Wildcat. And I was like, what? Okay, coming out in the Wildcat, I was like, are they already giving up on trying to pass the ball? They started running the Wildcat and going up the middle. And there was a couple of plays throughout the entire game where Gray had some huge gains up the middle, probably about 6-yard gains, and started seeing Texas kind of adjust. PK probably finally started stacking the box a little bit, but the ability to adjust mid-game is something I haven't seen Texas do in years, not since the Mac Brown era, and it's finally starting to come around a little bit. But huge. Even though it's Oklahoma and they're now 0-3 in the Big 12, the ability to do that and adjust mid-game and going in the second half is huge.
So, which is sweeter to you, defeating Oklahoma or knowing that y'all have them at 0-3 in conference play?
I would say beating them 49-0. This hasn't happened. I don't think Texas has shut out Oklahoma since the 1960s, and I don't know if I don't think Red River's ever had a 49-point, swing as far as a game goes. I feel like Texas today humbled probably the Oklahoma Sooner fan base, and the entire nation already kind of knows. But Texas is probably second to a 49-0 win. It's always good to beat Oklahoma, but this was, like I said, 10 years of frustration just unloading on that entire program.
Okay, I remember you mentioned earlier that you were surprised that they went with the Wildcats so early in the game. To me, it kind of makes sense because they were so banged up and injured and didn't really know what quarterback they wanted. I think they were pulling out all stops and hoping and praying they could try to keep it close with y'all. So they were going to try as many trick plays as they could because they really knew they couldn't depend on the pass. And if they did depend on the pass, they might get intercepted a lot. Y'all, and let me further that up with one comment. You do know that y'all held them to 38 yards passing. I'm sorry, 39 yards passing.
What is this? Is this the 1920s here? Is this the evolution of the offense that's going on? It's insane to me that, especially Levy as an offensive coordinator, couldn't. I was surprised they didn't bring Booty out of the third string depth to try to get some offensive ball going. They didn't even, I don't know if they're trying to not lose his red shirt at some point, or he's just not ready. But the Wildcat, and we can even get onto the fake field goal for the first down. That I was like, it's really, they already know that they're conceding this early, that it's this serious. But no, I never would have expected 39 yards passing. I expected us to stop the run, but no, that was crazy, insane.
I mean, you held them without a field goal. It was a combined 5 different quarterbacks that passed for 39 yards. Amazing, just amazing. That's total domination. You didn't see that coming, right?
No, I didn't. I expected, because our secondary has kind of been messed with this year, with Tech converting 6 of 8 fourth down conversions, finding open receivers and just picking on the secondary. So I expect Oklahoma to come out with some game plan. And mind you, I'll bring out a stat. I think it was 162 straight games that Oklahoma had scored a touchdown, and that streak is broken. It's I don't know what's happening with this program, and I can't stand Oklahoma, but I actually like Brett Venables as a coach. First for him, humble guy. I just I've been there. Seeing Oklahoma today reminds me of Texas in the last 10 years. I was like, I know exactly how that feels.
Y'all had some lopsided losses, but you haven't been shut out like that. I believe y'all were shut out, and the score was 12-0. It wasn't 49-0. I mean, y'all took out 10 years of frustration in one Saturday morning.
I would say so. I think I remember. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to say to whoever put this comment, it was an absolute slaughter, and I'm living for it. Next up, Texas A&M loses, and it's a perfect Saturday. I'm just curious who wrote that. Can you type your name in as well so we know? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think the last time Texas lost that bad, it was a couple of years where Oklahoma dropped like 60 points. Like 65-10. was the last time it was really that bad of a loss. But like I said, since 2014, it's been like a one-score game. Insane.
I don't know how to pronounce this girl's name. Do you know how to pronounce her name, Richard?
Oh no, that's a gentleman buddy of ours, good Texas Longhorns fan who's prior Air Force.
Oh, that's cool.
Riley, I think. Yeah, he's prior Air Force, and I think he's still Texas State. I think he might be a Texas State trooper currently.
Are you talking about this person? I thought, man, I don't want to say the wrong thing. I thought this was a female.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I think that's a gentleman.
Okay.
It's all right. I'm sure he gets it. I'm sure he gets it all.
Okay. So do me a favor,
yeah.
for anybody who puts a comment, type your comment, and then afterwards put your name, and that way we can give you a little love back. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Richard.
I was just gonna say, good Texas Longhorns fan. I think he might be in the frenemies group that we're a part of, Oklahoma Texas frenemies group, or may have left a while ago. But I definitely enjoy the slaughter, and I live for A&M losses. Oklahoma losses are good, but it's nothing. It's to watch the Colt in College Station go every now and then. It definitely, I think, warms every Texas fan's hearts.
Who's I know you said this earlier. Your next game is against who now?
We have Iowa State coming up next. I'm trying to keep it one game at a time and not look ahead in the schedule, even though I did kind of look down the road as when we got TCU, but we got Iowa State.
I guess that's our good friend Riley. I don't know how to say the name. Riley. I don't know, but that's pretty funny. Okay, so bring me up to date a little bit. Like I said, I watched the first half, and what was the first half score? 28-0. Am I right?
Yeah, it was 28-0. We got a good defensive stop or an interception to end the half. We came back around. Oklahoma had the ball, and we went out and made a pretty good stop on that first play. And then after that, they went out again and just continued to run the ball. But I believe when it was 35-0 was JT Sanders' last touchdown. It hit 35, and then I can't really remember from there. Lots of scoring happened today, if you hadn't noticed.
Yeah, so specifically what I was asking was I watched the first half. I went to go run some errands. I come back, and it was like already 49-0 until the end of the game. Where did the other three touchdowns come from in the second half? Because I missed that.
So it looks like we scored 2 touchdowns in the third, and then we scored our last touchdown in the fourth quarter for those 21 points. Like I said, I remember JT scoring his second touchdown then. And then after that, I think Bijan may have had another touchdown. But it definitely was getting kind of late here. It was probably about 4 a.m. about that time. And we had the game pretty much sewed up at that point.
Yeah, so I remember the last Super Bowl that the Cowboys won 417 years ago. I was still serving in the Army back then. I had to wake up I can't remember, like 2:30 in the morning to watch the game, and I was miserable the next game, but I wasn't going to miss a Cowboys game, so I had to it was weird because everybody else was sleeping there, and I had to be like, yeah. It was so funny, but I had to watch my Cowboys, and you're having to do the same thing there.
I was so AFN played the game on, which for a couple of years they hadn't had the game on. So they finally had it on. I thought so behind me is my actual screen for my projector that I was going to set up. So the game is on AFN, and I turn it on, and my wife and daughter are sleeping next to me, and I'm on the game, and like Texas is coming out firing all cylinders, and it's so hard not to scream and yell and cheer.
Yeah.
So I'm having to clench my fist like Tiger Woods every time they're scoring and just give it a yes, and then I have to like walk out of the room, kind of like get my frustrations and happiness out, come back. It's hard watching games at 1 or 2 in the morning, but it's well worth it when the wins happen.
What's awesome about that is, you know how I'm kind of passionate about veterans and things like that. Well, here we are talking about a Texas OU recap, and organically we're getting to talk a little bit about that military lifestyle where you have to readjust your schedule to still be a sports fan. So that's kind of a cool aspect of this video, in my opinion.
For sure. It's been so bad that I've watched Red River games and fallen asleep in a chair in like a day room somewhere, and people screaming and cheering and waking me up. And then last year's Red River was not. I was in South Korea at the time, and let's just say a couple of my buddies had been out drinking all night, and I was pretty toasty by the end of the game. So at least it was easy to kind of go to sleep and recover a little bit from the loss. But when you're surrounded by people that don't care about the games and they're the ones that talk trash the most, it makes things a little more difficult. They want to root against the super fan that's sitting there in the group of people.
Right. Okay, so I know you talked about you wanted to bring up some stats and everything. Before we get to that, you got an offensive and a defensive MVP for me?
Oh, offensive MVP is going to go to Quinn all day. I know Bijan had a pretty good game. I think about 170 yards, but it's got to be Quinn. His ability to run the offense smooth. I mean, if you can go back and watch the tape, I do not remember a Texas quarterback with as much. The last time I saw as much poise with a Texas quarterback was Vince, but Vince his senior year, the Rose Bowl Michigan winning quarterback. That came on later on. Quinn is a freshman that had a couple of snaps at Ohio State and played while he played at South Lake Carroll under South Lake Carroll's prestige and understanding. This kid's a freshman that's played quarters. This was his first full game. So it's got to go to Quinn. For the defense, it's for me, I would say the defensive all around, everybody played well. Like you said, the 39 passing yards, we're able to kind of stunt the run, make stops. But our front four, Keandre Coburn has turned into a monster player. You have Sweat on the D line too, and you have, of course, the Marvin Overshown playing in linebacker. That's just, you'll see that number 0 just flying across the field making tackles. But the D line, some of these defensive linemen, I think, are going to make a push for a rise in their NFL stock and get drafted. I think this year could be the year that we finally see Texas maybe have a first-round pick. It's just the fact that Texas is finally developing talent. It is blowing my mind. So I got to say the defensive line is my defensive pick for the game, and a Quinn on the offense. Much deserved win. All
right. Fair enough. I got an offensive guy and a defensive unit. That's fair enough. You said you had some stats for me. What you got? What did you see that impressed you?
All right. So I want to talk about our ability to convert on third down, something that we've had a lot of issues with. So Texas was able to convert 10 of 15 third downs. Oklahoma's a bad defense. They're in a tough spot, but that's something that Texas has not been able to really do in previous years. We get stuck on third downs, and you kind of see that offensive movement get stunted a little bit sometimes with Hudson. When Quinn's on the field, we can run the ball. We can miss a pass, right? He had a funky interception where he intercepted the ball. But super interesting. The other stats I want to bring up is how disciplined this Texas team is. We had 2 penalties for 10 yards the entire game. It's a rivalry game. As bad as Oklahoma may have played, we had 2 penalties. And I'm noticing the consistency with just trying to be disciplined on our offense. And our offensive line has not had some good games this year. There's been some issues with the run, but those are some big things. My third and final stat that I needed to see Texas finally complete is time of possession. We got killed on time of possession against Texas Tech. And finally, this time, we're able to have the ball for 32 minutes. So more than half the game, we're able to hold on to the football and still put on 49 points. So just a huge game all the way around. We're able to run 81 plays, only punted 3 times. So it's just offensive consistency. It's gelling together. And I tell you what, the offensive line plays so much stronger and more willed when when Quinn is behind at quarterback. It's almost as if they're able to play free without any kind of issues or any kind of worries. Not that they don't trust Hudson, it's just different when they're playing with Quinn behind center. They're a night and day offensive line. So,
well, I would put this out there.
Interesting stats.
I would put this out there, and I don't know that I'm correct, but I'm taking a guess. I would imagine the defense plays a little bit different if they are a little more worried about a certain quarterback.
Right. And I think if Gabriel had been on the field, could have been changed the game a little bit. I will say this. I'm glad that right. So the defense is going to respond well when you have Quinn able to keep them off the field and they can rest. That's just going to be huge. And we can go back to the Texas Tech film where Tech ran over 100. They ran like 100 plays. The defense was gassed. There's not a lot you can really do about that and totally blame the defense. But, I think if Dylan Gabriel had played the game, it would have changed a lot of the dynamic. They would have had some passing yards and things like that. But I really am kind of glad they went with the concussion protocol and kind of sat him out. I think everybody's worried after the Tua injury in the NFL and the craziness that's going on. So they kind of had to do what they had to do. But, if you got a certain quarterback that can keep the ball, keep the defense healthy, they can go out and try to push that 100% each play. So,
I specifically meant the opposing defense. What I was trying to say was I would imagine that Oklahoma's defense or any other opposing defense would have to play y'all different if they have Quinn Ewers in there as opposed to someone they don't fear as much passing.
You're exactly correct. And the good thing that you can see if you ever get bored and want to go back and watch film is Brett Venables would try to send the rush or big blitz packages on Quinn. And Quinn would simply dunk the ball off and, do a check down or a pass it above. But for the most part, and then if he ran any kind of zone coverages or, stuff like that, they would go ahead and run the ball. They would option it, run the football. So Quinn's ability to make reads and read these defenses is night and day compared to what I expect out of a freshman. But when you have Hudson Card on the field, the most likely what's going to start happening is you're going to end up probably running the football more consistently. A run play is going to come versus a pass or the option to come out of it. But yeah, you're exactly right. I don't know what Big 12 defense is going to want to face Quinn. He beat Oklahoma pretty crazy through 4 touchdowns, and he took Alabama, was able to go up and down the field pretty easily with Alabama, who's, number 1 ranked team, top 5 team, depending on who you look at. But I'm excited. Yeah. I know I don't look excited, but I'm trying to keep the humble pie. I'm trying to keep that slice of humble pie right here. We're not back. We have a ton to work on, but we're not going to come play scared anymore.
I just got to give kudos to y'all, man. I was very impressed with that. I'm not necessarily looking forward to that Baylor versus Texas game anymore, but so as far as what defense would want to face y'all, I would say Oklahoma State and Baylor's defense, maybe Kansas State would feel the most confident, but that doesn't mean anything. Y'all are playing pretty well. You're a well-oiled machine. It very much seems like to me. I think y'all dominated every facet of the game. If Oklahoma beat y'all on anything, it was probably punting yardage.
Right. Yeah, I haven't seen Texas play really well on all three phases of the ball till today. Today may have been our most complete game, putting everything together, game plan, adjustments, defense and offense. It happened as best as it could. You're playing your third string players, your main players by the fourth quarter, so and you have a pretty big lead that's hard to come by. I will say this. Kansas State in the past, in the 90s and early 2000s, would kind of give us issues. Oklahoma State, but that TCU defense is kind of interesting to me to watch. They have speed. They're able to defend the pass really well, and I cannot. Max Duggan is just a ghost of Christmas past for us. So I would say TCU is going to be an interesting ball game down the road, but. Like I said, I'm looking at each week. I'm trying to get up at these 1 a.m. games to watch to see how Sark. It's fun. It's fun to watch Sark game plan and watch Texas go in and the differences in the games. It's fun to watch these games again versus going in and like fear a loss type of situation. It's finally fun to see those changes and those things happen. Today, I came into this game more confident than any other Texas-Oklahoma game I've ever watched. I've never been like, this is going to end up being a win and not a lot of issues. So,
yeah, I'll say one correct. I don't want to interrupt.
After your phone call, can we?
No, you're good. That's Marshall. You want to say hi? That's Teresa.
Hi, Teresa. Can you hear me?
Yes, we'll color it. Okay. You want to? Okay.
Hi, Teresa.
Right. I have my earbuds in. He says hi.
Oh, okay.
She says hello.
Okay, I heard that. That's a perfect interruption. I wasn't gonna say a word, man. That's daddy-daughter time. That's beautiful, man.
It's all good.
Yeah. Well,
we're talking about the football game. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was probably thinking. I think we've discussed it pretty well, and I kind of felt like go ahead and ending and everything. A few things I want to put out there. Thank you, Richard, for coming on here and helping me put up some content for the channel. For everybody who is checking this out, if you're watching this on Facebook or Twitter, drop on over to the YouTube side and try to help this channel out with a like and a subscribe and everything. Richard, are you following the channel, the YouTube channel?
Yeah, I actually I get your pop-up stuff. Well, I get your pop-up stuff from Facebook, so I need to go on and subscribe on the YouTube channel and start spreading your content out for the Big 12.
Texas.
Are you gonna give them a hug? Good job.
Hook 'em horns. Y'all earned it. All right. Well, yeah. I would appreciate it. If you like and subscribe and everything. That'd be cool.
I got you.
Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. Y'all enjoy the rest of your morning. I'm sure you're going to be on cloud 9 the rest of the day. I hope everybody enjoyed the content, especially the Texas fans. I doubt any Oklahoma fans are tuning in right now. Sorry, but
no.
They've had quite enough victories here lately.
Yeah, it's time for some other people to enjoy it.
Texas.
All righty, well, I guess the road to a Big 12 title either goes through Stillwater or Fort Worth, Texas for now. But I think y'all are going to have a little say in that as well. Anyway, thank you, everybody that paid sick of Marshall Burns. I don't know who said that, but I will always sick him to the best of my ability. I'm going to wrap this up, but thank you once again, Richard. I will talk to you later. If you want to jump back on here another time and talk about anything, just hit me up on message and we'll make that happen.
Will do. Hook up, Marshall. Have a great day. Good luck to Baylor.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Going to end the video. Sick and Bears. Y'all have a great one.